Hello, this is a Diamond 3 Orisa review, and the post on this one mentions that they had been dropping, and their stats have been alright, but it doesn't feel like they were changing the outcome of many games. So now they're trying to climb out a low diamond. So we'll go through. The good news is you might just be tilted, but there's a pretty big difference between like high plats, low diamonds, and higher diamonds. At least I noticed, because I'm kind of getting stuck at Masters 5. But you should be able to farm some of these lobbies, so we'll go through. It's fine, and what I noticed already is it's kind of hard to peel for ball, which you ended up choosing not to, which is fine. You just kind of, Freya or any other long-range hit scan, you want to sort of limit how much you take on that if you want a default sort of positioning, because you're already kind of positionally lost in low. Limit how much chip you take, come up here, control the health pack. You can cap point on one of the corners. Usually, like, one of the corners on their side is a good place to play. And you do that, and basically none of their team can help the ball, and you win. So this is already sort of just like a positioning mistake. If you dwell here anymore, it's really going to hurt your team. And yeah, you were just trying not to die there, but getting shot by Freya like 5 times is what caused all this. But you can get healed, then you can take health back. That's fine. Yeah, and you are, once you got that spear on ball, at that point you're like, okay, he's at least not attacking my supports. And this venture is basically doing what I want you to do. Be up here, none of these guys can help the ball, you cap the point. And that sort of will really help your team, because the venture is not as good at doing it as you are. Yeah, and it's sort of, this is, everyone can just farm you and look down and farm on you, which is why you have to be a little more disciplined on where you're standing, because this is just, it is kind of plat behavior, standing out in the open and letting everyone shoot at you. And again, you're probably tilted at this point, because you said you lost like 8 games in a row, but this is the stuff you can't let yourself start playing like a plat because you're tilted. Alright, so now we're doing good. We probably could have held that fortify, but we're up near the health pack if we want it. But yeah, eventually we did sort of get up here, push these guys out. Your team did a lot too, but you got there eventually. You just needed to take control of the map a little better. But yeah, just farm the guys coming in. Limit how much Freya chip we take again. So yeah, this is fine. Your Junos are going to get to you eventually. And yeah, push into these guys, because it's not like other matchups where their tank will go to town on you if you go in. You can push these guys aggressively. There's only so much a Brig Mercy Freya can do, as long as you have at least one ability. So their balls causing disruption, you can just cause disruption on your own. That's kind of just recognize that this is sort of how the tank matchup goes. You try and just trade back lines or keep their whole back line busy. Yeah, this is great. And Ball did solo kill your Kiri, but I mean, they're not going to get to do that consistently. And if you want, you can grab the health pack or just hide in the corner. Just keep the point alive, basically. Don't let the ball cap it. And limit how much damage you take now that you don't have a support, but... And that's fine, they just picked your supports and ulted, so. But that was a good play. Even if though you didn't get the Brig, you forced Mercy and Brig to just run away. And Freya, so that was good even though you didn't see a kill feed. Alright, we're gonna... Yeah, because it's definitely been early fortifies all game. That a spear spin is usually enough. Just a spear spin can get you to cross like from here to here, or from here to here, and then you've got cover. So don't use your like 13-second cooldown for a little bit of chip damage. You gotta use it a little better. Yeah, and if you're kind of going into a crossfire, like if you need to push that Frey out with a spear spin, get in her face, do it. And then fortifies your backup if for some reason you start taking all this damage or everyone reacts, but don't spear spin to the middle of the point again, because you know. If you want to take the point, go here. If not, you can push out people, but don't spear spin into a crossfire where everyone just gets to shoot down at you. Because I don't know if you're actually gonna... You started to do it, I don't know if you're gonna catch yourself. Okay, you caught yourself. And this is great. This is great right here. You're where you need to be. You can get kills or start capping, but... or use your ult aggressively. Yeah, you just took too much damage there, but that's fine. The play was good. I think you just might have... You could have... let's go back and drill on the ability usage. Well, there was this early fortify. I'm trying to see if you had it back or not, which I think you do. That sort of indecisive spear spin. Okay, we didn't have it back as soon as maybe we wanted, because the earlier you use fortify, the more it effectively does, because you're getting 50% damage reduction on whatever health's left, so... Yeah, like if you use it at 240, then they have to do, I think, like 500. They have to do twice as much damage, so... But if you use it at 400, then they have to do 800, so that's just how Fortify works. I think it just came off cooldown, so that's why you used it a little late. Yeah, so it's just sometimes Fortify's trolling because it's not as clear as other abilities. It's just 50% damage reduction. So if you have 200 health, you still fall over. So that's what I wanted to make sure happened there. And they got a pick, it's fine to wait, but yeah. And you could have waited for Spear Spin too. Spear Spin's the free way to sort of cross 10 meters, but you didn't take that much chip. And there's just no follow-up on this, really, because your team was still coming, so I mean, they were respawning, but it's just, I'd be amazed if this actually gets in a limb. It's just too impatient. Oh, well, Brig didn't actually shield bash out for some reason, but good job. Good spear. And you can retreat back to the, like, to limit how much chip damage you take. If they're coming in, retreat back to here, your safe spot. Because if they force Fortify, then all they have to do is wait another 2 or 5 seconds, and then the game's basically over. Yeah, and their Freya just went ham, but you took a lot of chips. So if it was an actual team fight, you took a lot of chip, but Freya just picking everyone is just unfortunate. Yeah, and you had a few more seconds. That minefield's going to take a little bit to clear. So it's sort of one of those cases where we'll go for the last second touch because your team's at least 5 seconds away from, probably 10 plus seconds away from actually helping. But and you sort of baited a Juno ult too, because Juno just ulted as soon as you got on point. This is just gonna be desynced, and you're probably not gonna get anything done. So this is just a timing issue. You had 5 seconds to spare here. Get out the center of the point, get out the center of the point. And if you really want to go ham, like, just push the spread. If you notice a DPS is carrying, try and get in their face if you can, which they're on ball, so most cases you will be able to just run at the Freya, so. And yeah, I was going to say, keep ignoring the ball, go for the DPS, because they're the ones getting kills. A bit slow, but the right idea.
My ultimate's almost ready. Team, hold the point.
Good stuff. I guess you didn't look up, but she's above you. Where the hell is she? Okay, wow, she really went up, but yeah. Just don't lose sight of the Freya, because she's the one that can turn this fight. Okay, there she is. Hey, but you got it. You did enough. Your positioning and your focus on the DPS was way better at the end, so something changed there.
Hey, you're pretty cool.
Yes, and you are a perfect.
We're coming out. This is good spam. And good spear on the ball. That's like the one chance you have to actually get a kill is if you can spear a slam. Or spear when a bunch of teammates are around, so that was fine. And now you want to get closer to these guys, so it's not like the first fight where you take tons of chip. So you can maybe even go around or just like come here, barrier here. You need to close the distance on these guys. Think like. Yeah, because I mean you can sort of be here and be worse Sigma, but it's not that consistent, so use the barrier to move up. Oh yeah, now we're cooking. Good job. No space at all for these guys. Good shots. And if they back up, just let them. You can just make sure you're doing a decent job and not taking too much chip damage. This is all fine. You're down one, so you're just keeping the point alive. That's fine. Almost. And I was gonna say that was actually a good time to fortify and push up. You kind of were of two minds to back up and fortify, but that was a fortify and move up situation. You could have won that. A little more indecisiveness. The good news is now that you have the barrier, your positioning's getting a little better. But You're probably just more confident with the barrier. Oh, nice. You teleported out, I guess. Yeah, and the fortify there was slow again because once you want to use it by 300 if they're really pressing you. Just you've been using it at 500 early when you have cover, but if they're pushing in and get you to around 300, that's when you want to be popping fortify so it actually makes you unkillable instead of them just having to do an extra 200 health. And that one Freya kill where she just flew in the air and picked your teammate, like, you're not... If they want to go Grandmaster, they can. There's really nothing you can do about that. That part. And yeah, that's what I thought again. Sometimes with ball, you should always be looking back, but it's especially important to look back against ball. Because I had a feeling I was going to see this, which is everyone looking at ball, no one within 10 meters. Like, this is... You just need to wait. You only need to win one more team fight, make it a good one. This is... You can't do it yourself. Yeah, you just got to get a sort of feeling on where your team is and when it's time to go in, because that's the second time where I'm like, I wonder where the team is, and I cheat and look back, and sure enough, they're not there, so. Oh, your team got a pick? And yeah, it's at least worth it to, like, when you hear these sound cues, look up for Freya. If you get a spear, that might be enough to win the game. She is making really fast, good plays, but sometimes you need to use these sound cues and try and track her a little more. Sometimes the DPS is like, I'm him, and they start making these plays, and you just gotta look out for them a little more, because you're... Okay, there it is. A little slow, but there we go. Barrier's back up in 2 seconds, we can walk. Well, by walk, I mean, like, do it here and actually take this area. If you do it here, you're kind of stuck here, not doing that much pressure, unless they eat a spear combo. So this was a, like, walk and take the space. It's sort of a Sigma thing, like, you can, like, aggressively barrier and walk forward. Good spear, though. We're just not taking as much space as we could be. If we had barrier, we could completely be in these guys' faces, doing a lot more consistent damage, but... Okay, we've got it again. Yeah, like, that's not a fortify situation, that's a barrier situation, because the fortify has the longer cooldown, but... Good ult. Beg for healing and back up. Beg for, like, Mercy was rezzing. That is just really undisciplined, impatient. The healing was gonna come if you waited 1 to 2 seconds. That was the game there. Like, how do I win this game? Stand behind a corner and do nothing for 2 seconds, which is oversimplifying it, but you know what I mean.
I'm on fire. Target's locked.
Now let's see. I guess they're probably gonna come back here. Yeah, that was just sort of a scuffed retake again. Just whenever you go to retake, make sure your team's there, make sure you got full health, and actually barrier out aggressively once you have full health and your team. And don't stop popping fortify so early. All those things will help you retake.
I hear if it weren't for your parents, you'd be as much...
Freya's going back to getting random picks 2 seconds into fights. That sucks, but... And if they're gonna play like this, something like a Diva or Winston might be good, but... Or just full-on protect your team with a Queen or like a Sigma or something that can... Well, probably not Sigma on this map. Something that can just CC the ball. You might end up getting stuck in the middle again, not having much to do or shoot at if they start playing high ground, but... Yeah, that's... you just gotta think, like, do I need barrier? Or do I need fortify? No, barriers... The lower cooldown, and it probably would have saved your Mercy, because they would have just blocked all this off, so... We got balls, so yeah, let's just check where our team is. They're probably close, and go as soon as they're here. And actually take space. You've got abilities. You can fortify, like you were taking a lot of damage there, so fortify is not the end of the world. But fortify and take space. You just need, if someone's on point, they don't have ball, that's your ticket to actually... And it takes sort of pressure off your team because they got to look in 2 spots. So that was another missed chance to take some space. And you're doing a lot of mid-range poke damage, but if you're not taking space along with it or actually getting the elim, it's kind of just spam damage. So the stats are looking good, and you said you knew stats weren't everything, but that's one way of stat padding, is to do a bunch of mid-range chip damage that doesn't result in anything. I'd rather have you do slightly less damage and be here. Good job getting healed. The only problem is ball's back now. You kind of miss your timing, but this is good. See, on the second time we did it right, but... Watch the ball boop off the map. They love that. But yeah, ball's low, like this is barrier and walk. We're getting sort of another timing. I just want to see you do like a barrier in front of you so you can take space. Good spear. Another early fortify when the barrier will get you to here. Just trust yourself. It'll get you up to the next corner. And then you can use Fortify to really go for an elim, or if they start pushing you hard, it's just... There's never any big plays from you, it's just sort of passive. And I would have looked like, you hear the Freya again, like you're nanoed. If someone puts a nano into you, you can start looking for kills. Like this Freya should, at least one time, make her pay for these deep plays. You're not going to be able to stop her from getting these random mid-air picks, but you can punish her for these plays that you hear. Or you should be hearing if you have a headset. Good, you got Fortify again. Just back up and go for healing, which you did, so it probably won't happen, but... Yeah, there was just so much indecisiveness here that you spent 40% like standing here. You never actually contested the point until you got a nano, so... I felt like I feel it's like we're one team fight in, and they're at 75%, so that's... Well, that is what happened, but... That's what happens when you don't just barrier aggressively and walk forward. That just, you get stuck there, mind, they all spam the same choke point. There's just, your DPS are probably a little unhappy with you. And yeah, going for the touch. My Doom's basically flat, so good luck. Yeah, that was a touch attempt. So yeah, main issues were not taking space, ability usage, fortify too early most of the time, too late a few other times when you try and use it when you're above 300 HP. Uh, there were a few times Freya was really close to you and you just didn't react. And also the better ability usage. Once you actually get in these guys' faces, there were a few times where you did take space, get in these guys' faces. You were actually getting limbs, making them back up. Other times it was just indecisive, mid-range, do nothing chip damage while they had the points. So I hope those are the main things you see you need to work on. And I feel like once you do that and maybe get a little untilted from the lost streak, you'll climb back to mid-diamond. So good luck.